I feel so alone. I'm just a kid, how can I take it on my own? I've cried too many tears, yeah, writing this song. Trying to fit in, where do I belong? I wake up every day, don't wanna leave my home. My mama's asking me, but I'm always alone. Too scared to say, too scared to holler. I'm walking to school with sweat around my collar. I'm just a kid, I don't want no stress. My nerves are bad, my life's a mess. The nature call me, they hurt real bad. I wanna tell my mom, she's having trouble with my dad. I feel so trapped, there's nowhere to turn. Come to school, don't wanna fight, I wanna learn. So please, Mr. Bully, tell me what...
My older sister tends to call me a lot of things that she doesn't think hurts my feelings. But it's especially tough when you're trying to improve yourself every day and trying to be a good person and trying to treat people around you really well, and then to have someone that is really close to you verbally cut through a lot of your personality into your character. That hurts a lot, and sometimes even if you tell them to stop, they won't. And I found that people that are closest to you can hurt you the most sometimes. And some of the words I wrote on the board were things like arrogant and entitled and negative and angry, and a lot of those have to do with some sibling rivalry, stuff like that I don't really need to have any part of. So unfortunately, I've sort of lost a family member over it, because since that happened, I've just been really intentional about who I surround myself with, whether it's family or friends or acquaintances. Just having the intentionality is really important, because quite improved my life to not be around people that continually would suggest that, first of all, if you haven't said anything to the person, I would give them a chance to respond by telling them, first of all, how much it affects you, and then after that, regardless of their response, I would take measures to be optimistic and look forward in your life to all the other possibilities, because there's so many people in the world, and there's so many places to be, there's so many things to experience without that bullying in your life. So I would recommend just taking some time and enjoying things you love to do, and just choosing to be happy and choosing people you want around you.
Hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you.
I like these two. I do.
Hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay.
18 years old, and I was bullied by friends of mine at the time, people I thought that were my friends. And it was one of those experiences where it kind of was out of the blue. I didn't really know if I'd done anything wrong and what I did wrong, and that was part of my experience, because I kept trying to figure out what I was doing wrong and trying to fix myself, which ultimately was more problematic than just letting it go, I think. But I was 13, so that makes sense. And yeah, I was just, one day I was going to a sleepover and I got uninvited over the phone, and I didn't really know why, by all my girlfriends, and they were all together and I was the only one uninvited. And then for months after that, they just would text me and call me horrible names and tell me I wasn't worth living, and they wouldn't tell me exactly why or why their opinion was so negative. The bullying really festered for me in a physical way was when I was really young. When I was 13, I have really fine hair, so my hair wouldn't grow very long, and so I had really, really short hair, and I always wanted long, pretty brown hair, but I couldn't grow it. So for my 13th birthday, I think actually, I got like these clip-in colored and brown hair extensions, and I thought I was really cool. So I started wearing these to school, and I started wearing them after the bullying had started, which now in retrospection I realize was probably pretty ballsy of me, since they were going to pick on anything new. So I started wearing these hair extensions, and one day I was at my locker, and one of the girls at the time that was part of the group that was bullying me came and like ripped them out of my hair and like threw them at me and was yelling at me and telling me that I'm, ugly and random crap, I don't know. And so that was one instance in particular that it really was obvious how much they were bullying me, because it wasn't just through texting or calling anymore, it was in person, and that was a pretty pinnacle experience throughout mine. So in terms of how I overcame that, or how my life changed afterwards, I don't really have specific things, I guess. It's all kind of a blur the next few years. I just was really bitter at the beginning of high school, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that I lost a lot of friends throughout that experience, and I just didn't have any particular reason why I should have lost those friends. It definitely made me a stronger person. I find myself to be very careful with how I come across to people, in terms of I just don't appreciate or acknowledge any kind of bullying, and I don't put up with it at all. So it doesn't matter if it's small or big, but if it's something that's completely unintentional and out of the blue, like my experience was, I definitely react a lot more heavily to that than I would have, I think, if I hadn't experienced it. And I realize how extreme bullying can cause a lot of stress in people's lives. Because for me, I was suicidal when I was 13, so that was really hard on me. But I overcame that, and for people who are older, I think it can be even worse, because people know how to tear each other down even more as they get older. They understand that. So I guess I just react a lot more severely to bullying now that that's happened, and I guess it's inspired me a lot to be a much more compassionate and understanding person, because you don't really know what people are going through and if they're being picked on. I think, I don't know, it's kind of hard to know what the call to action would be in a situation like this, but if you're being bullied, I think the best thing you can do is separate yourself. Know that you're worth more than some mean words by some stupid girls or boys, and separate yourself from the people who are bringing you down, and try to find people who are going to support you. I know everybody has their flaws, and you're never going to have perfect friendships, but there's a big difference between bullies and people who just kind of mess up sometimes. So you need to learn what you're worth and remember that, and just separate yourself. If you're being bullied, I think just getting away from the situation and not feeding into it, it'll probably stop altogether, and you can find some better friends and spend your time doing something more worth your time. And in terms of people who bully, or just the culture around it, I think it's changing so much now, because it's online mostly, which I think I kind of experienced that, but there wasn't as much internet or MySpace or like Facebook when I was 13, but it was starting. And so the culture of bullying is just changing rapidly, and I think the best thing that we can do as a culture to nip that in the bud is just reiterate how uncool it is to be an asshole. So just try to lead by example, I think. And when you see something that's just screwed up, you don't just sit there and be like, oh, they're just friends, they're just joking around. Like, you stand up for the person, because you don't really know what's going on. And it's probably more worth it.
What I wear is all I have. We lost a home, I'm living from a bag. Yo, Mr. Bully, help me please. I'm flesh and blood, accept me please. Hey, Mr. Bully, I don't know what to do. My mind, I can't explain what I did to you. Mr. Bully, take it from me please. Every single day, you bring me to my knees.
Hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away, and be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay. Just be hopeful.